tuning in. If you're new here, my name is Rivi, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Strivers Network. The Strivers Network is an internationally recognized youth-led social venture working to empower Sri Lanka's underserved high achievers to attain upward social mobility through a world-leading post-secondary education. We achieve this by conducting island-wide outreach, providing zero-cost high-touch mentorship, catalyzing community leadership, and mobilizing youth-led advocacy. And you're tuning in to Striver Chats. Striver Chats is an initiative of TSN to highlight the human beings behind this community, this wonderful community, and to really highlight the success stories that we've been able to cultivate over the past 4 years of building TSN. And without further ado, I've been waiting to have a conversation with this person. He's someone I really, he's someone I'm honored to know the story of, and he's someone who like motivates me like every other day. And I can't wait for you to learn more about him. And without further ado, welcome Thuwaragesh. Thuwaragesh is currently a student at the California Institute of Technology, the alma mater of Sheldon Cooper for all the Big Bang Theory fans out there. But I have so many questions, but just start with, why don't you just give us a quick elevator pitch
Yeah,
kind of introduction of yourself, and we can go from there.
sure. Hi everyone, I'm Thuwaragesh. I'm an undergrad at Caltech. I'm in my second year. Studying physics. Looking forward to a career in physics. But I'm in a phase that I'm still deciding what I want to do after I graduate. So yeah, that's me.
Cool. So, um, first of all, like for all the viewers, I'm sure you're just kind of gawking at the screen thinking Caltech. So it's for me at least, like it's like the STEM version of Hogwarts, if that makes any sense. It's so like mysterious yet so like renowned. But before we get to that, why don't we backtrack just a bit and why don't we talk about your experience in school? Um, where you studied, what you studied, what interested you academically, but also in terms of like extracurriculars, in that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Hindu College Colombo from my grade 1 to grade 13. Uh, I was uh, I was doing good at academics, but because I kind of liked it, like I kind of liked the STEM subjects, and so I was like involved in it. And at the same time, I also did like some extracurriculars, um, including so I was the head prefect of the school. I was in the prefects guild. I was a junior prefect, so we started doing junior prefects from grade 6. So from grade 6 to 13, I was involved in it. And then another big part of my school career was debating, Tamil debating. So I also was in the team, like not the main team, but like C team, and then I was promoted to B, and then A teams, and then was doing debates for like pro for like I don't know 2016 to like 2021 ish. So that was also a big part of my school life. And then I also played Scrabble. Um, that was also for like 5 6 years. He also playing during that time. And That was one more thing. And yeah, these were like my main extracurriculars that I was doing for like a long period of time. And then one like I've also done other stuff, but then they were not like these these ones. And also I participated in like because I was like very into STEM subjects. I was like participating in like a lot of competitions and stuff. So that's how my school went. Yeah. And what else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for the viewers, don't let Thuwaragesh's modesty fool you. When he says he took part in STEM related competitions, he means, for example, he got an honorable mention at the IMO, the International Mathematics Olympiad once. And so that's the level that we are talking about here. And to manage that with debating, you mentioned you were in the A team and like must have taken part in like because while I wasn't I mean I was like I am like familiar with how intense the debating like competition schedule can be in English debating. So I can only imagine for Tamil
Hmm.
debating and then prefectship and Scrabble. Scrabble is yeah, and Scrabble is actually how I got to know Thuwaragesh. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty much known Thuwaragesh for at least like a decade. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's yeah, and
Yeah. It's
it's been it's just been such a pleasure. Just I was just thinking about this. Just it's so cool to like
uh-huh.
grow up
Yeah.
everyone and like see where everyone's going, and it's just yeah, it's nice to it's a nice experience. But why don't we talk about what led up to the mathematics Olympiad involvement?
Yeah. Sure. So as I said, I was like involved in like math. I liked math a lot when I was in school, and like it's like one of those things like you sort of it's like you start doing it and then you like it for some reason, and then if you do good once in math or like basically anything you good once, and then there's this positive feedback loop, right? Like people like think that you're smart, and then so you kind of want to repeat it. Like, so I think that's how it started when I was like very young, maybe like in my primary or grade 6 7. I just did it. I wasn't mature enough to understand, okay, this is actually a good thing and I'm doing it. I was probably doing it just because like I was getting like positive feedbacks and like people used to like it, right? And then as I learned more and more, it was just more, it became more and more interesting. Um, so uh, Before Olympiads, I was also doing these competitions conducted by the Ministry of Education. So they also have select students and send them to like some international competitions, which not a lot of countries participate, but they, because it's the ministry conducting it, it's like almost all schools participate, and it goes on from a zonal level and then to a national level, and then they select a few people. So I was lucky that I got into the provincial pool when I was in grade 6. So that was where I think it all began, and I got to learn a lot, especially when I was in grade 6. I just by going to the camp, I had learned almost until like grade 9 or grade 10 level math. So I was like, just because I did that, my school math was like it was all like it was something that I already seen through the competitions, right? So that that basically led me to like get good scores, and again the positive feedback loop, whatever, and
Yeah.
it was going good. And also one more thing was that one thing that was interesting about math Olympiads was that you don't require a lot of knowledge to do those questions. Like even though I said, okay, I had learned till like grade 10, but that was for these competitions conducted by ministry. But then as I went to like even more advanced versions, uh, it's not like then again it's not like I started learning even more advanced undergraduate courses. I just sort of stopped there. But
Hmm.
then it's that level of knowledge that's required by the competitions as well. But it's
Yeah.
like the problems are very simple. You can even explain it to anyone in middle school and they'll understand it, but they won't be able to solve it in it like generally because
Right.
that's the problems are like very creatively designed. Yeah.
Right.
So that's one thing that attracted me. Math Olympiads.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. I mean, like, yeah, it's you describe it so effortlessly. You're talking about the positive feedback loop and all that. First of all, it's really. I mean, taking like two educate. I'm really into education policy, so I'm really taking two
Hmm.
education studies courses right now. And something that we learn a lot about is the importance of positive feedback and constructive feedback and things like that, and being
Hmm.
specific. So yeah, and but again, wow, like first of all, I think I feel like the viewers are dying to know how you balanced all of this at
Oh,
once, and what kind of advice you might be able to give them to kind of achieve,
yeah,
not to try and approach your level or anything like that, but to achieve at a level that they will feel like productive and
yeah,
healthy. Yeah.
sure. Um, so the reason why I did extracurriculars was genuinely because I liked them. Like, um, of course, academics is something that you have to do. Like you sort of have to do whether you like it or not. Like at least in Sri Lanka, it's an important thing, like regardless of where you're from. But then in Sri Lanka, like the emphasis is even more. So it's something you do anyways. But then when it comes to extracurriculars, I think in my case at least, uh, I never did anything that I did not like. I played Scrabble just because I liked it. I did debating because I liked it. So it was never during my school life. I've never felt like, oh, this is so much work. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I've never felt that sort of a pressure um, when I was doing those extracurriculars. And I think one of the reasons could be that this is something I wanted to say later during the conversation, but then I did not know about this US universities and applications and the holistic admission process or anything. So because I did not know it, all I knew about was Sri Lankan university, and how you can get into them is just through the A levels, right? Um, and so I had no pressure to do the extracurriculars. So I did them only because I wanted to do them. So because of that, there was no pressure. It's like say you like watching movies, right? And you have an exam tomorrow, but you want to watch this movie tonight. You'll end up doing both anyways. Like it's like if you want something, if you like something, you'll anyways end up doing it. So it's just what I wanted, so I did it. And that I think is very important. Like um especially like if you're someone who knows about this process and you feel like, oh, I should like show off so many extracurriculars on my application, and so you spend a lot of time of doing extracurriculars. That's fine, but you should like them. End of the day, if you are not doing them uh, for because you like them, but instead because you want to show them off, then it's not going to be optimal. Yeah, and I also remember there was one article that I was reading when I was applying how to get into Harvard by an Harvard alum, I think, which talks about this and analyzes this thing like very deeply, like quantitatively, sort of. Yeah, so that I think is what I did, and I think I did it without knowing this, but I think I was just lucky that I did it. But I think that's what how people should go about it.
Yeah, I can so totally relate to that experience of
Yeah,
like, because because I've been thinking lately, like, why did I even like involve
yeah,
myself so much in so many activities? It's just because
mhm,
like it felt energizing and productive at the same time, and like
yeah,
like you said, I feel like I feel like I get a kick out of like just trying something
yeah,
also. So I always wanted to try things at school, and yeah, I feel the same way. I feel so
yeah,
glad that, I wasn't told, oh, you're supposed to be doing this,
hmm,
but
hmm.
like it come like I then reach a
Like,
conundrum because that's exactly what the Strivers Network is doing. That's our mission
yeah,
to
hmm,
uh to open the floodgates of information. But yeah, I mean, you raise a really valid concern there in
yeah,
terms of like what the motive is in terms of
hmm,
like when we are trying to get them to do extracurriculars. But in so many
yeah, yeah,
cases, like for example, like I know so many friends, and in my experience as well, sometimes when it came to like O levels or A levels, it comes to a point where like parents kind of like want to see you
Hmm.
like putting more time into your academics. And so a lot of like people I knew like had to kind of cut off like activities they
Yeah.
really loved because of that. So I guess in a way by I think like you said like it mm, it's a double-edged sword really
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in one sense like it would have been nice to know that like the work that I did like in the Interact Club or drama whatever it was like the fact that it was appreciated I would have loved to
Hmm.
know, but at the same time I wouldn't have wanted the pressure. um
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a really interesting, yeah, topic in
Yeah.
general. I could like go on and on about, but
Yeah.
we have so much more to cover. First of all, Scrabble, right? So
Hmm.
I was just thinking, there at least five members of the Strivers Network did
Hmm.
Scrabble as a serious extracurricular activity, and
Yeah.
it's wild to me. I was talking to one of my the Scrabble friends, and she and I were like just joking about the same thing, just the fact that I mean, just to list the names of like Abid, one of our co-founders, he yeah, he came first in the World Youth Scrabble
Yeah.
Championship. Janul came second twice
Hmm.
in the World Youth Scrabble Championship. Janul, who I just interviewed last night. And Tirandi. Then you have Vignesh, and yeah, it's insane. So I just wanted to ask you, like, have you ever thought about like the correlation between that? Or like, have you thought about what Scrabble imparted you in terms of like skills, but also philosophy and stuff?
Yeah. I think of the correlation part, I might, okay, I don't know if it's like it's like correlated in a way that I think it's because you like everyone played Scrabble, everyone knew each other, and so like that could have like boosted the group of people to get together and do something. But then that being said, I think Scrabble is like it's a great sport. It's uh it's again something I like, and I think some people think of Scrabble as just like memorizing words, but then of course you also know that it's not just about memorizing words. It has a lot of strategic calculations that you have to do during the game, which is very interesting to me. So surely it has it's one of those first things in which I started thinking probabilistically about probabilities and like how what are the odds that someone has these these styles and they could play a defensive move or like an offensive move or something like that. So I think that's a big thing. Um, yeah, so I would say that's the main skill I got out of Scrabble. But at the same time, I also got to know a lot of people because if I had like done some other sport or like done, let's say I was saying that I was going to these competitions and I was doing Tamil debates, right? And then so there I would meet people who are like more similar to me, like people with like if you go to a Tamil debate, it's all going to be the same Tamil schools coming, and then I'm not saying it's like the same community, right? But then when I started playing Scrabble, that's when I got to talk to people from like all these schools around Colombo. Like I don't think I would have had a friend from Royal College. I mean, maybe some people, but like otherwise, it's I think it was a very important opportunity that let me connect with all these people. Yeah, so in that sense, I think Scrabble is a great thing to try out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shameless plug for sure.
Yeah.
But you also did you mention that you played a sport?
I played basketball for a while, but like wasn't like
Nice.
really good at it. I was okay. Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
just another like extracurricular, like just casually. at
Yeah,
the time.
but yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it wasn't like okay. I wasn't. It was. I played for like 2 years maybe. I wasn't really good at it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, slam dunk on all the extracurriculars for sure.
Nah.
Um, all right, so let's move forward and talk about how you came across the Strivers Network and what your journey was like with us.
Yeah. So I got to know Scribus Network from Gowrer because I knew him from Math Olympiads. So I think when I was doing my A-levels, like during my A-level year, that's like I yeah, I think I was my IMO was in 2021. So that's also when I was preparing for my A-level. So I was like talking to him and he mentioned about this. Um, and then at first, because it was my A-level year, I didn't like really pay attention to it. Like I didn't like really look like search more and like understand like even look at what's the Fibers Network. I was like, okay, this is some organization that'll help you get into colleges. But then after my A levels were done, I started seriously looking into this stuff because at the time that also was the time when the country situation was getting a little bad. So it was kind of optimal to look for these opportunities because like when I did my A levels, it was 2022 February, which is like 6 months later
Yeah.
than when I should have done it. And then the results came out in 2022, August 29th or something. So that's like another 6 months. So
April April was when the protests really started, right?
I
Yeah,
think
when
so.
it
But then there
yeah,
was also COVID, and then
yeah.
so like it was just a continuous and like a continuous thing going on, right? So yeah, so I think 2022. So it was like just I was just doing nothing for I kind of wasted 1 year, I felt. So I had to look for these opportunities to study abroad and see what if I can sort of balance it out. So then I looked at the Cyrus Network and I saw your faces there on the Instagram page and I realized, okay, these are people I know already. And then I applied. Then I got into I think that year you selected like 10 people to mentor. So I was in that, or maybe 25. Yeah, 25, I think. Yeah, so I was in that group and Janul was mentoring me. Um, so yeah, so Strive, and he was a great mentor. He helped me a lot with my applications, especially my essays. So I think I would have not applied just like if Striver's network wasn't there. And I remember I also got like I have even for my SAT, I was able to get some funding through the Strivers network. So it was like very important to me that I got connected with you all because otherwise I simply wouldn't have known these stuff. Like because like the usual path that people take is that you go to a Sri Lankan university, you complete your bachelor's, and then maybe for your master's or PhDs when you sort of start looking to study abroad. Um, that kind of makes sense because, like, in general, like, it's very hard to find scholarships for undergrads. But then the fact that US gives these need-based slash a lot of need-based scholarships is something that a lot of people don't know, I would say. So I think Starbucks Network is doing a great job in spreading the message and also helping people. Yeah, so that's that's how I got to know Stripe.
And yeah, and honestly, I'm honored that you've gotten to be part of this journey with us because and for the viewers, if you've watched Janul's Striver chat, you'd understand that we are very much um a we are very much a solution that is born out of the community that is affected itself. So we're kind of cyclical in terms of like how we get feedback and also get past scholars to become mentors and so Yeah, I'm is and now we have so much to talk about in terms of uh firstly, you applied to both the US and the UK. We're not gonna spoil
Yeah.
where Thuwaragesh got in the UK for now, but why don't you talk to us about the difference in application styles and essay styles
Mhm.
between the US and the UK, if you remember?
Yeah, I think uh, for me, UK was easier because I think at least to some extent we follow the British style in education, right? So it was easier. So in for the UK, I think the application is like more sort of it's like a formal application that you kind of would expect in a Sri Lankan setting. It's like you have one personal statement and maybe one letter of reference, if I remember correctly, and that's mainly the application. Just one essay that gets sent to all the universities, and it's like 4,000 characters or 4,000 words. I
Charac-
can't remember
Characters, yeah.
characters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you apply through UCAS, I think you can have five choices for a single application, which means it's like you can apply to like different degrees within the same university, or you can like split them amongst different universities. But each choice is like a university plus a degree combination, basically. There are some restrictions to it. Like it's like if you apply to Oxford or Cambridge, you have to apply just to like one degree, and then if you apply to Oxford, you can't apply to Cambridge and vice versa. So except for that, I think that's how it works. And then USA gets sent, and then you also have to like mention about like your A level or like any sort of high school diploma slash scores and everything. Then you have to take an exam. Um, Okay, yeah, you have to take an exam. I think most universities do that. Um, and then if you get a good score in an exam, then maybe there's an interview, and this is how the process went for me, at least to within the colleges that I applied to. Whereas in the US, it's more of like a very holistic thing. Uh, you because in the UK system, in the UK application, right? Because as I said, it's about test scores, it's about how you perform in your interview. So you kind of can guess whether you'll get in or not. It's like more focused towards academics. Whereas in the US, it's like very holistic, where you have to like write a bunch of essays on like different topics, like completely different topics, which as Sri Lankans we wouldn't like really expect to be on a university application. And then you also have to, I mean, still you also have to like submit your transcripts and everything. But then the main part I think is the essays, and then you also have to give the SAT. Yeah, and then what else? You also have to get a couple of letters of recommendation from your teachers, which also could be a new thing. Um, because yeah, that's like the uh, those are like the differences that I can think on a surface level. But of course, like we can, if there's anything specific you want me to mention about, I can talk about it too.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think you covered like a lot of it like really succinctly, so thank you. But yeah, so the essays mainly are like kind of the differing factor here. But in the end, Thuwaragesh gained admission to um, the University of Oxford for, I think, engineering, right?
Yeah, when yeah.
And then Caltech, and then you if you don't already know, you don't apply to a specific degree in the US when you apply.
Hmm.
You apply to the entire university, so Caltech, the class of 2027. And all right, so this is the part that I've been really excited to get to, about your life at Caltech. And I like in preparation, I watched like a couple of videos like on the train ride back to New Haven. And I learned that Caltech is full of traditions
Mhm.
and history and lore, and that really got me excited because I kind of like entered it because I knew like next to genuinely, other than the fact that it was like Sheldon Cooper's alma mater, I
Yeah.
didn't know anything specific about Caltech or real. So to know about this, so yeah, what would you say are like your top three favorite Caltech traditions?
Okay. Wait, also, like, I also didn't know about Caltech. And also I didn't watch Big Bang Theory before I got into Caltech. So like it's only after I got into Caltech that I started like searching about the university and I got to know a lot about it. But yeah,
I had a very similar experience
yeah,
with Yale. And well, I knew about Yale, but I hadn't watched like the show that
yeah.
everyone tells you to watch when
Uh-huh.
you say Yale, which is
I see.
Gilmore Girls. I
Okay.
hadn't watched that anything on it like that. But just for context, for the viewers, Caltech is short for the California Institute of Technology. It's in Pasadena, California, and it is known as one of the like STEM hubs, not just in the US but in around the world. It's renowned. Like they kind of pit Caltech and MIT against each other sometimes, and they're known, I think they're known to be rivals.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just some context. But go ahead, Thurigesh.
Yeah. Because you mentioned about the rivals as well. Like it's like the rivalry is sort of like mainly through pranks. So there's this since you asked about the traditions, like one tradition that we have is that every every sort of like every like sort of those important days, like for example the end of term, and then during the beginning of term, we have something called the rotation. Beginning of the year, like the first year students have something called the rotation. So when rotation ends, um, and then when every so we have three terms every year. So when the terms end and when the academic year ends, and like when the commencement, which is when you graduate, when the graduating ceremony ends. So during these occasions, there's a canon in Caltech, which is a real canon, which is probably like 100 years old or so, that we fire on these important days. So, I mean, they put like gunpowder into it and fire it, and it's like very loud. I think it's one of the. I was very shocked surprised when I first saw it, but then it's like very loud, and I like it. Like I don't miss it most of the time. I go there, even though it's something I've seen like I don't know 5 6 times at this point. It's something I really like. So that I would say is one sort of tradition. And then, so this canon has an interesting story with MIT. So there was an MIT. I'm not sure which order this happened, but there was it's because this prank rivalry was going on. I think at some point, some Caltech people, like this might have been like some 10, 15 years back, they went to MIT during the when the new students were coming in, and then they were distributing these T-shirts as if they were from MIT. Like maybe they were also wearing MIT jerseys, and they were distributing these MIT T-shirts, which are MIT in the front, but then when you wear it at the back, it says because not everyone can get into Caltech. So that's known to be one of the most funniest pranks that Caltech has done. So in revenge, what MIT people did was they came here, they somehow acted as like technicians or maybe like students. I don't know the exact story, but then they stole the cannon and brought it back to MIT.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of rivalry that goes into this. That story was very interesting to me because like to come from there and then the
Yeah.
cannon is like right outside, like it's like right in the middle of all the student houses. And then they somehow managed to take it and fly back there. Or no, no, I mean not fly, but then somehow took it back there. which is interesting.
Yeah, and I also heard about ditch day. Is that what you
Yeah.
when the last day of class is ditch day?
No, 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 no. So Dish Day is this. It's you don't know when it is during the year. It's
Okay.
something planned by the seniors and people who are,
Oh.
and some alumni also. So what they do is they officially cut the classes. Like people just don't go. It's during a weekday, and people just don't go to classes. And like the day before, the seniors tell you, okay, tomorrow's this day, and then it's like there's a couple of things you have to do. Like you're supposed to stay inside your room after
Okay.
like maybe like 7 o'clock because the seniors are preparing for it. So
Okay.
they arrange like they take up a theme and they like arrange like a lot of games and activities that you can do throughout the day. And
Mm-hmm.
alumni also come on that day; they also help out. So and the next day you are supposed to wake up early in the morning, and then you are supposed to join uh, one of these groups. Like each one has a different theme, and then you just keep doing some fun activity for the rest of the day. I think it started out as some people just wanted to cut classes and then they did it. And
Mm-hmm.
then it just became a tradition and then people just continue doing it. So, yeah, so for example, like last year, I was in a group that had the theme of Harry Potter. So
Mm.
like, it was like very well organized. Like there were like a number of, what do you call those games where you have to like use clues and find things?
Oh,
So it's a very common name, but
yeah, yeah. It's gonna
I
come to me. Come to me. You keep
yeah.
going. It's to me.
Yeah, so there were like a lot of
Treasure hunt.
those events. Sorry, what?
Treasure hunt?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So pressure hunts, and they were also like designed in like a very Caltech fashion where you had to like do or like solve like a lot of math slash science puzzles and get them. And
Was
then we also sort of played. Okay, I haven't watched Harry Potter, so I don't know what this game is called. In Harry Potter they have these broomsticks under between your legs and
um
some.
I'm gonna I
Okay.
am no, not the computer game, the real game. Yeah, it's called Quidditch, Quidditch.
Yeah, yeah, Quidditch. Yeah. So we also played like a version of it where we went to the
Oh.
football field and then you had to like keep like a sponge stick between your legs. You have to run with that and like sort of play football where like you hold the ball, not football, you play hold the ball with your hand and then throw it at the soccer goal post. But then you have to have this broomstick. So it's like very nice. It was like very nicely designed.
Hmm.
Like the entire day was just full of fun activities. Yeah, and the important part is that like it's very exciting because you don't know when this day is. Like during, especially for the first years. Like I think during first term they tell them that, oh, this it's this day tomorrow, and then you wake up and then there's no this day. So it's like it's just so much fun that they do these things.
Yeah, and like I bet it really adds to the experience as well, and like stories that you can tell. What like the level of commitment they put into like the
Yeah,
game, it's yeah.
yeah.
So that reminded me of a prank between Harvard and Yale.
Mhm.
So So a bunch of Yale students. This was in 2004. The class was in 2005. A bunch of Yale students went to the Harvard game and went to the Harvard side. And they kind of aligned. They were kind of aligned as such that when they put up like a board,
Yeah,
it the whole thing reads
yeah,
"We suck" or something like that.
yeah,
And that was like it's one of the most like it's known to be like one of the most famous like
yeah,
ranks in like college rivalry history.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, and it's and I bet like the reason that Caltech is able to foster such unique traditions and
Mhm.
culture is because of the small class size, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about like so I just
Yeah.
like that it was like around 230,
Yeah.
50
Yeah. Yeah.
plus.
I
That's
think it's,
insane.
yeah, that's insane. Because I had 240 people per class here, which is the same as my like my school. So
Yeah.
my school had from grade 1 to 13, which means we had like more than 3,000, 3,500 people. And here the whole undergrad community is just, it's less than 1,000 people. Uh,
So
so
it's like a STEM, it's an ultra STEM
yeah,
version of a liberal arts college.
yeah, definitely. Because first of all, there's not, I mean, Caltech offers non-STEM degrees. Like technically, there's an English degree, history degree, philosophy degree that you can do, but
Yeah.
no one does that unless some people do go for like a double major or
Yeah.
a minor. That's the only way that people do it. Like people don't
Yeah.
do it as a first major. Like
Makes,
most, like 99.9% people don't do it. There
makes
might be
sense.
some exceptions that I don't know about, but yeah, but then it's very small, as you said. It's like extremely small. There are like pros and cons to it.
Hmm.
Uh, Pros, I would say, is that so even though Caltech is small, like the student body is small, it has the same resources as any other good university in the US, right? Like it has the same, like probably at the same order of magnitude of funding, um, same level of resources, same level of like everything. So what happens is when it comes to resources, there's a what I would call like a something like a resource density per student is like very high because you whether it be in terms of like some sort of fundings when you want to apply to like some program or some research position or whatever, or even in terms of like when you go to a classroom because your classroom is small, it's like you can like talk to people more. You can talk to instructors more. You'll have sort of some sort of all like an almost one-to-one uh, thing where you can like just um, you'll be one of the few people in the class and you'll be getting most of the attention. So like it's one of those good things about Celtic. But of course it gets boring after a while. Like it's like the campus is also pretty small. I mean, the area is also pretty small. So like you kind of keep seeing the same, same buildings slash same people. And there's like just a couple of areas in campus where everyone comes in. So like if you just go sit there, and there's a good probability that you'll see 90% of the student population on that day. If you sit long enough within a single day, you'll see a lot of people. And for sure you'll see more people, like most of them like multiple times. So it's like it's okay. I wouldn't say it's like it's necessarily a bad thing, but you might get bored. Yeah, that's uh that's how being a small school being in
Yeah.
a small school
Uh,
feels like.
Speaking of like meeting the same people, how's the social life?
It's great because as I mentioned, it's because it's like a lot of STEM majors. Again, there's also pros and cons to this because there's a lot of STEM majors. You there's a lot of people who are almost on the same track as you. So like it's very like-minded people. It was very new to me because it's not something you find in any other place, I think. Like whether you're when you're in school or anything, there's always people who are like very different from you. But here it's like everyone's like the same. So you can sort of it's sort of easy to navigate the uh, social even conversations and everything. Like you can just go to someone and talk about some random STEM science thing, math thing. Like if you overhear someone walking here, if overhear some two people talking, it's almost guaranteed that they're gonna be talking something about the homework sets or like
Mm,
some science thing that they're doing. And it's sort of like uh not looked down upon as
mhm,
opposed to like the usual culture of, like looking like thinking of people, STEM people as nerds and things like that.
mhm.
But of course, when you're like surrounded by these like-minded people, it also comes at a cost that you are not meeting different people.
Yeah.
and learning different things. So that I think is that's very important, I think, to get to know more people of like different backgrounds. But at the same time, people here are also like very nice,
Mhm.
uh, as opposed to like as opposed to like the usual um, sort of expectation you'd have in like a STEM school, right? It's like people are like very nice here, so it's really good for social life. Yeah.
Would you rate the campus culture more collaborative or
Yeah,
competitive?
yeah, it's definitely very collaborative. I don't think it's competitive. I mean, competitive as in everyone wants to do their best, but it's not like I'm competing with someone else in my year or in my class.
Yeah.
Which is also a very new experience to me because that's not what we do back in Sri Lanka, right? It's like you have to compete. You literally have to compete with everyone if you want to get into university. It's like I'm not saying which one's bad, which one's good. It's like I think that's good. Like it's a big topic and we can like keep talking for hours on it. But then I'm just saying it was very different. You're not competing, and it's very collaborative because so we have our term is like 10 weeks long.
Mhm.
And for the first 4 weeks, you have what we call P-sets, and
Yeah.
then you have the midterm, and then the next 4 weeks of P-sets, and the last week of finals. So except for the midterm and finals, all the P-sets are like collaborative. Like you can do it as a group. I mean, you have to submit your own solutions, but then you can do it as a group, discuss, do everything, and then submit. So of course, if you want to maximize your score or your GPA, like the natural way to do it would be to like actually like collaborate with people. So almost everyone collaborates here. Like you don't usually, it's very common to see people working on presets, even like if you go to this place called Red Door, which is like the most popular uh, eating place on camp, one of the most, there's only three. It's so people go there. It's open at 7 a.m. You go there at 7 a.m. You'll see people working on presets. It's open till 2 a.m. You'll
Uh,
still see people working there on presets. So it's very, very collaborative, and it's very also very hard to get through without being collaborative. So it really teaches you how to do teamwork. And also like in it's also like you basically learn how to work as a group because when I say it's collaborative, it's like it's very it's not that simple to work on homework as a group, right? Because you might think, okay, you first of all, how do you find the right people? Like some
yeah.
people might be slower than you, some people might be faster
Right.
than you, and there's all kinds of people. And maybe sometimes you might feel like, okay, if I did this alone, if did this by myself, it would have been better. Or maybe this is slowing collaboration is slowing me down. You could think about all those things, but then I think at Caltech, as you keep doing this thing, you sort of learn how to actually collaborate. It's not like at this point, what I've come to realize is that it's like you should not like what you should be doing is that you kind of work on the problems on your own, like do your own thinking, work on it for like, I don't know, 5 6 hours, try to get it done. And if it doesn't work out, then you come and talk to people and see how it's solved. I think that's probably a very good way to go at Caltech, because it's not like you are like just copying others' answers. You're actually understanding stuff. At the same time, you're also like not stuck. There's people to help you out. So that's uh, that's part of the collaborative environment here, and it's not competitive at all. Like you can go talk to anyone in your class, and I'll be like, "Hey, how did you? I'm stuck on this problem. Can you help me?" And there's no one who's gonna say no to that. Yeah,
That's really important. That's really cool because I don't think that's something that's offered in other universities necessarily.
hmm,
And I think that's probably part of Caltech's like
yeah,
key tenets. You meant so it's Pasadena, right?
yeah,
So it's a suburb of LA, or is it how close?
yeah. It's like from here to LA would be like 40 minutes by
So,
car.
so do you find yourself like going to the city often?
I wouldn't say often, but maybe I don't. Okay, I don't know if this is correct, but I think there's not much to do at LA. I mean, there's stuff to do at LA, but not the kind of stuff that I want to do.
Right, 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 right.
So I don't really go to LA all the time because you also have to like it's like 40 minutes and
Exactly.
uh it's kind of like uh and also there's a lot of work here.
Yeah, no, I
As I said, you're just working on like
yeah,
your homework all the time. I
yeah,
mean, not, I mean,
complete,
you have free time and everything, but
yeah,
then that's like the important part.
yeah.
So we go maybe like once in a while, but then around Pasadena is also like very nice. It's a suburb, but there's a lot of places, things you can do, a lot of places you can visit. So there's
Mhm.
also like a couple of mountains to the north of campus. Like if you
Oh,
that's like maybe 10 minutes from here. And then the mountains are like very good places for hikes and stuff. So
yeah,
that's something I do once in a while. So yeah, that's things to do. But I don't necessarily go to LA, but like I go
yeah,
around Pasadena.
nice.
Yeah.
Um, so how has your academic journey beyond A levels kind of been? Like, what did you think you were gonna major in? What were your classes?
hmm yeah. Um, so I've never thought about anything other than doing engineering during my high school because that's like the usual way to do it, right? Like, but then I started liking physics very much when I was doing my A levels. So I was thinking about physics. Then I was like, okay, maybe I should go, like, I should get a good results, and then uh, I should be able to go to either Moratuwa or Colombo to do physical science. That was like, but like, well, I was like 99% going to go to Moratuwa if I get in. But then I was also thinking about physical science.
Yeah.
So and then when I came here again, I applied as an electrical engineering major,
Okay.
or like I said, electrical slash mechanical
Hmm.
uh, slash physics. So first year I was like actually I'm indecisive, but then uh, I took some classes. I liked the physics classes. I also took some robotics classes
Hmm.
to see how it looks like, and they all look very great. So during the during my first year, I thought, okay, if I take like classes in both fields, I would sort of like figure out what I want to do. Then, but what ended up being happening is that I was just getting more and more confused that because like I actually started liking both of them, and I was like in a position that I couldn't decide. So when we had to declare majors, I couldn't actually decide, and like within the week, there was a form that I had to fill out. I first filled it saying, "Oh, I'm going to do doubly." Then I fill it again saying, "Oh, I'm going to do physics." Then I again fill it saying, "I'm going to do doubly." And then they emailed me asking, "What are you going to do?" Then I said, "Okay, let me stop this now." And then okay, I say, I'm going to do physics, doubly electrical engineering." And then I did electrical engineering for my first term in the second year
Yeah.
for 3 weeks. And then I realized, okay, I don't like this. uh, then I switched again, switched to physics. So
Okay.
it's been physics. I'm not going to switch anymore because technically it's possible to switch at any time during your undergrad, but then there's a lot of requirements that you have to fulfill.
Yeah.
So if you keep switching, you're not going to finish it. But at the same time, I feel very happy that I chose physics now. I like the classes very much. I think I like doing research. Um, so I'm looking forward to a career in research probably. So I'm gonna stick with this.
Hmm.
So yeah, uh, yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar conundrum. So I'm doing CS as like my base, but
Mhm.
so Yale has two different joint majors. I mean, a bunch of joint majors with the computer science department, but I'm specifically looking at computing and linguistics versus uh,
Mhm.
computer science and psychology.
Well,
And I'm trying to take, I wish I had like enough time to take both psych and linguistics, because there's a lot of overlap between the two, and it's
yeah.
like Noam Chomsky, but
Yeah.
something that I've been trying to think of deciding on. But yeah, speaking of physics. What do you have any plan? What kind of what's next for you? What do you, let's say, like summer, a year on, in 5 years?
Um, okay, in a year from now, okay, I know what I want to do a year from now. I mean, for the next year, I wanna keep doing more and more research, like engage in more physics research and do something. Mainly, I mean, one thing is that I have to prepare my grad applications. That's one thing. But then I think research is like what I like, because I tried some others, like a lot of stuff. I uh, tried taking like electrical engineering. I tried doing robotics. I tried some other things. But I ended up deciding, okay, this is what I want to. This is like I just want to do something where I can just think a lot, like think a lot about problems. Um, yeah. So I've been doing some research during my last summer. I did something, but then this time I wanna like switch the field of physics that I'm working on. So I'm looking forward to something maybe like condensed matter slash quantum information, something like that. So that's something that's probably my immediate goal for the next year. Um, and from 5 years from now, I would probably be in a uh, PhD program. I hope so. I mean, it's like this. When I say I probably, what I mean is uh, like from my current state of mind, I want to do a PhD. So I'm like 99% sure that I want to do a PhD. So from if that state of
And-
mind continues,
Yeah,
sorry.
and plans change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so maybe 5 years from now, I wanna still keep doing research. And yeah, and then maybe after PhD, that's something I don't really know about. I know I might either go to industry, either come back to academia, because I think I also like teaching. But still, then it might be a big decision to make whether what I wanna do after I also complete my PhD, assuming that I'm doing a PhD. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you and I should definitely have another chat. This is for a whole another day,
yeah,
but
yeah,
teach, because I
yeah.
love, well, while I don't necessarily want to teach as a profession, I love like
Hmm.
education and
Yeah.
like but yeah, you make me wish I knew like advanced mathematics and physics so I could like actually have it like a talk and like talk to you on the same level in terms of like, different like cool like quick like questions and equations or whatever. But I don't. So for now, we will get to the
I mean,
final
I
question.
don't know much either. It's just like I'm just a second year, so we
That's true.
probably can't. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's my point is it's just amazing to like no, for me like that's a really, like you said about Scrabble also, it kind of is an equalizer and like everyone's in the same kind of playing field, and also it's very diverse. Like that's
Mhm.
kind of my mission with the Strivers Network as well, to create a really diverse like community, like, and like for example, I like, while I don't share the same love or passion for physics or math as you do, um, I can appreciate your passion for it, and it like is inspiring in so many ways. So this conversation means a lot to me, and yeah, just so that parting question before we say goodbye. Any encouraging words for future scholars, prospective strivers?
Uh, okay, encouraging. That's okay. It's, okay. Let me think. I think okay. If for people who are watching this, I think they probably are sort of like thinking about whether they want to study abroad, right? I would say just unless you have like some specific reasons for it, and some reasons that I can think of why people wouldn't want to study abroad would be like, okay, maybe they want to do medicine in Sri Lanka, then I think the most straightforward way is to study in Sri Lanka. Because I think that's the case. Uh, but or like for any other reason, I don't think why one shouldn't be trying to study abroad. Because I know like some people, like I've also talked to some people and asked them to apply and everything. But then the thing is, there's some reluctancy amongst Sri Lankan students in applying abroad because you are brought up in an environment where like your goal is to do A levels, get a good score, go to a state university. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. So when you have lived with that kind of a goal for like 15 years or 13 years throughout your school, and then when you get to know about this opportunity, it's very hard to like switch your mind. It's like it's simply hard. So even I was like like I wasn't 100% sure whether I will end up here. But then I think it's a very great opportunity to use because if you simply think about it, if there's any other problem that I can think of, one thing could be financial. Financially, you might not be able to support your education abroad. But then that's exactly what Strivers Network tries to promote is that there's these scholarships that you can apply to, and then you can get a financial aid. And so your financial burden is also not there when you're studying abroad. So in that sense, I think um, studying abroad also comes with a lot of opportunities. Like, it's just unthinkable because it might be like cliche to say this, but then I think it's very like the amount of opportunities here compared to what we have back Sri Lanka is like it's enormous. It's like I don't know, maybe 1,000, 10,000 times more. But the problem is that people don't know this. And I think an even worse problem is that people don't know what they don't know. So it's just so much opportunities here that there should be no reason as to why one person shouldn't be doing something here. Because like I can like talk about some things. For example, if you wanna like say I'm a physics major, right? I mean, say I'm a physics major. Say I'm doing the same thing in Sri Lanka, was the same thing in here, and I can say I want to do research. Yes, I can do research. I can literally email any university in the US, uh, like talk to some professors and try to get a research position and get paid for it, and also do some really really good research, like like people who are actually like working at the top of the world in the field of physics, or like it's true for any other field. Or say I want to do an internship instead. Then again, that's also something that if you try, it's something that you can get here, like which is also some sort of some opportunity that I don't think you can easily find in Sri Lanka. Like I know people do internships, but then here it's like very common to the extent that like you can do it in your freshman summer. People do it during their high school. You can do it during your PhD. Some people even take gap years to go work in a company and say, I want to start a business. Then again, this is a great place because like we even within universities, I'm sure most of the US universities have some sort of entrepreneurship opportunities where they give fundings, where you can go pitch your business idea, get some funding, work on the company. It could you can take a gap year, like you can take like 1 year gap and then go do it and then come back and keep studying your bachelor's. So there's all these kinds of opportunities and flexibilities that are available here, which if you are someone who wants to do something big, right? I mean, everyone has different life goals, but if your goal is to do something big in the field that you like, then I think it's all it's reasonable. It's very much reasonable that you go to a place which provides you all these opportunities to do these things. So I think US universities, without any doubt, they're like but not just US, any abroad universities, they provide a lot more opportunities, unfortunately, compared to what we have at home. And this does not mean that everything in Sri Lanka is bad, or it's not like that. It's not like you're gonna end up in a worse position or anything. It's just there's more opportunity, which means there's a higher probability that you'll end up finding something for yourself, something that will boost your career. If uh, assuming that you wanna have a good career.
Yeah, well, that's also part of the point of the Strivers Network as well, just to create a community of Sri Lankans who have
Yeah.
seen how good it can get, and then
Mm-hmm.
be locally and like bring that back to Sri Lanka somehow. That's just to put it as simply as possible. But yeah, two things that I want to highlight. I think something that firstly, you put it so brilliantly. I mean, I'm gonna come back to like watching this because just because of like how like plainly and like plainly you analyze it. But something that I remembered was just like how important extracurriculars are in terms of expanding that worldview from a very young age. For example, like the different competitions and like be it Scrabble or theater or like for you like being like taking part in the IMO might have given you some sort of exposure as well, and that kind of like exposes you not just to not necessarily anything foreign, but like just other people from different backgrounds. And then the second thing is you talked about like why how there's no reason for anyone to ignore just how much opportunity there is here, right? Well, sometimes for some people they prefer being the big fish in the small pond rather than a small fish in a big pond. And that's
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a mindset shift thing that needs to happen as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some people it can't be taught. So you
Okay.
can't just
Okay, but I guess you can if you even if
I mean
you
it can be
you
yeah,
you
it can
you are a small if you can become a small fish here and then go back and then be a, you can grow yourself to be a big fish and then go back. It's not
yeah,
like you can be
exactly.
a big fish even if you come here. Like look at the big if you even if you look at like all the I don't know like the respectable people in Sri Lanka at some point in life they have studied like most of
Yeah.
the educated personalities I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I'm not saying like it's up to the person at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a personal decision, but I think it's something you probably don't want to miss. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm totally in agreement with you. This is
yeah,
coming from a place of like close to 5 years now of talking to different people
yeah,
about this thing of like studying abroad and the
yeah,
different approaches I've heard.
yeah.
For some, like I've tried to convince some people and it's just not,
Hmm.
yeah. So, thank you so much to Ragesh, for giving us your time, and so much insight. I'm really again honored to like kind of, just know you and be part of your journey. And yeah, I can't wait to see you do bigger and better things. But until
And
then, yeah, have a great one. You have one more final, right?
yeah, one more final
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Luck. Wish
yeah.
Thuwaragesh best of luck, everyone.
Uh,
All right,
yeah. And, thank you for having me. It was great talking to you. And yeah,
all right.
yep.
Thanks, Thuwaragesh. Have
Yeah.
a good one.